Top 15 annoying rules royal children are forced to follow.
If you are brand new to our channel, we invite you to take a moment to subscribe. Just click on the lit red button as well as the gray bell. Why the bell? Well, it will let you know every time we post a new video.
15.
No nicknames are allowed. Believe it or not, one of the first rules royal children have to follow is the fact that there are no nicknames. Whether this goes for the family while they're in private or not, we're not entirely sure. However, when it comes to the public, they're to be addressed by their full names and full names only. That's why you never hear Prince William addressed as Prince Will. Although many people refer to his wife as Kate, her proper and full title that she is addressed as is Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge. No matter how cute the little ones are, they have to have their full names used when called. So no, there will be no Prince Georgie or Princess Charlie anytime soon, as much as we'd love to call them those cute names.
14.
There's a dress code. You'll never catch Princess Charlotte in Barbie dress, or a My Little Pony shirt, nor will you ever see Prince George in a superhero t-shirt anytime soon. The royal family has a very strict dress code when any members of the family are in public, and that especially includes the kids. You may notice that Prince George is always wearing shorts, and that's because it's a part of his dress code. You'll never see him wearing pants, as wearing shorts is a sign of being in the upper class. He'll wear shorts until he's 8 years old. As for Princess Charlotte, she will always be wearing a dress and a cardigan, and depending on the weather, she might wear tights. Whether or not they dress like this in the privacy of their own home, we're not sure. You'll never catch them in anything else in public, though, that's for sure.
13.
They must stop eating when the Queen does. Everyone knows that it's important to respect your elders, and when you're a child of the royal family, it's even more important when one of your elders is the Queen of England. The Queen has many rules in place, some of them making sense, while others, not so much. This rule is one of them. When the royal family sits down for a meal together, they must follow the lead of the Queen. Once the Queen is done eating, everyone else must stop eating, regardless if they're done or not. When it comes to Princess Charlotte or Prince George, or any other royal children for that matter, they better not put up a fight about eating, because if they're not done by the time the Queen is done eating, then they're going to be a little hungry. 12. They must learn multiple languages. As a royal, you obviously are known around the world, and travel all over for royal duties, and, as a result, visit a number of countries. Not only is it impressive to be able to communicate with other people in different countries, it's expected too. That's why the royal children start learning different languages at a very young age. The goal is for them to know multiple languages and hopefully become fluent, or fluent enough to understand and speak with someone. Prince George and Princess Charlotte have already started learning Spanish, and Prince George already knows his numbers. At the rate that they're going at such a young age, they'll definitely be fluent in no time. That's very impressive, that's for sure.
11.
There are no presents on Christmas Day. Yet another strange rule that royal children have to follow. Things are a little different for them on Christmas. Most kids have to wait until the morning of Christmas Day to wake up, see what Santa brought them, and open up their presents. Royal children actually do the opposite, and open up their presents on Christmas Eve. That means little Prince George and Princess Charlotte don't have the same Christmas traditions as everyone else. This rule, or tradition, stemmed from a German tradition that the royal family followed for years. On the bright side, Charlotte and George don't have to wait as long for Santa to visit them than everyone else. Perks of being a royal, we suppose.
10.
10. No selfies. If you're ever lucky enough to meet any of the members of the royal family, don't count on getting a selfie with any of them. In fact, don't even ask, because the answer will be a definite no. No members of the royal family are allowed to take selfies of themselves, or with someone else. That's why you've never seen a selfie of any of them. It's not acceptable, nor is it proper etiquette for princes, princesses, queens, and kings to be snapping selfies on a daily basis. Prince George and Princess Charlotte are in for a rude awakening when they're older. They won't be taking selfies for social media like their friends may be. That'll probably be hard for them. Oh, the life of a royal.
9.
9. They must accept all gifts graciously. Being a royal is the equivalent of being a celebrity, even bigger than the most famous celebrity you can think of. People are so interested in them, and the life that they lead, that they are willing to do anything for them, even if it's just to meet them. Since they're so fawned over by the public, they oftentimes receive many gifts. Sometimes, these gifts are very thoughtful, and sometimes they're a bit strange. Regardless, members of the royal family must accept them with a smile. Both Prince George and Princess Charlotte have received many gifts from the public all over the world, and as royal children, they must accept all of these gifts graciously, no matter what they are. Make sure you guys learn to grin and bear it when accepting those strange gifts, guys.
8.
8. No political affiliations, and can't work for the government. As a member of the royal family, you're obviously a public figure, and as a result, people look up to you and admire you as some leader. Because of this, it's important for the royal family to remain neutral on political parties, as to not cause any conflict. This might not matter to royal children when they're younger, but it will definitely affect them when they're older, and can't understand the concepts of political parties. Additionally, they're not allowed to work for the government, as it also poses a conflict of interest for the royal family. The public must see that the royal family is neutral in all things political, so this rule is especially important to follow.
7.
7. They must learn to speak properly. There's definitely no baby talk when it comes to the royal family. The royals pride themselves on their proper etiquette and the very proper way they speak. It's been that way forever. Every monarchy is very similar. They hold themselves above the public, so they must dress, act, and speak in a very proper manner. That also includes the royal children. They already have a royal dress code that they must follow, and they must speak properly too. Although we don't hear them speak as much as we hear the adults speak, there's certainly no goo-goo gaga or any form of poor speech from these children. That may seem strange and seem like they're being stopped from being kids. At the end of the day, we have to remember that they are royalty after all.
6.
6. They must have their own protection. This rule is very similar to the first children in the United States. The president has the Secret Service that protects him, and all of the members of his family. This most certainly is the same for the royal family. The Queen has the royal guards that watch over her, and all members of her family too. To keep the kids especially safe, they must have their own form of protection, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Again, this might not bother Prince George and Princess Charlotte when they're as little as they are now. However, when they're teenagers, they might find it a tiny bit annoying. They won't be sneaking out of their rooms late at night with a security detail like that. That's a definite.
5.
5. All weddings must have a party of kids. One of the best parts about being a royal child is all of the weddings they get to attend. It's a royal tradition to have a bridal party that's made up of all children. Although when Prince William and Catherine got married, they strayed a little away from the norm, as Catherine did have her sister, Pippa, as her maid of honor. Regardless, she still followed through with the royal tradition of having the rest of the bridal party filled with royal children. This means that in May, when Prince Harry and Meghan Markle get married, you can count on Princess Charlotte as a bridesmaid and Prince George as a page boy. Think of the adorable outfits they'll wear while walking down the aisle. We can't wait to see how cute that will be.
4.
4. You must have good etiquette. Mind your manners. Watch those elbows on the table. Make sure you use the soup spoon, not the dessert spoon. And most definitely, don't slurp your soup. When you're a royal tot, tantrums and food fights at the dinner table are most certainly not tolerated. All royals must have good etiquette, and are taught at a very young age. Think along the lines of princess lessons that Mia went through in the Princess Diaries. These children will have more etiquette than all of England put together. It's definitely something that's been instilled in the royal family for ages, and will continue to go on for many more years to come. We can't have the royals looking bad in any way now, can we?
3.
3. No tiaras until you're married. When you think of royalty, you almost always think about the crowns and tiaras that they get to wear. It's become sort of a staple for any royal woman. So, why is it that we never see Princess Charlotte wearing an adorable tiny tiara? That's because royal women are not allowed to wear any type of tiara until they're married. At a royal event, when the queen is wearing all of her jewels and her crown, all of the women in the family that are married are allowed to wear their tiaras as well. If you're not wearing a tiara, that signifies that you're not married, or you're most certainly on the market. It's a shame, really. We think Princess Charlotte would look absolutely adorable in a tiny tiara.
2.
2. Two heirs can't travel together. One of the biggest rules that royal children must follow is they cannot travel with their parents. There's a rule that states that two heirs to the throne are not allowed to travel together. You might be a little confused, as we've seen pictures of Prince William and Prince George flying together, and that's because they're allowed to, because he's still so young. Once Prince George turns 12, the rule is strictly enforced. This is in case there is an accident or any other terrible event, that something happens during travel, at least one of the heirs to the throne is safe. Otherwise, the loss would be so much greater. It's a little gruesome to think about, but we have to admit that the rule does make a lot of sense.
1.
1. They can't play Monopoly. One of the strangest rules, and perhaps the funniest rules royal children have to follow, is that they're not allowed to play Monopoly. The game is notorious for getting families and friends who play into many arguments. And believe it or not, that's exactly what the royal family don't want, to play it. The royal family have faced many scandals and other public scrutiny over the years, and they most certainly don't want another riff in the family due to a silly little board game. Whether this rule is meant to be taken seriously or not, we won't expect this game to be played on family game night.
Yeah.